Hello and welcome to the Custom Minis in Talespire video. This video is going to come in two parts. The first part is going to be for the average user who just wants to download some custom minis and add them to Talespire. And then the second part of the video, or the second video, is going to be for users that want to actually create their own custom minis and add them to Talespire. So let's start off. So, in Talespire, there have been three main plugins for adding custom content to Talespire. There are some other plugins like Replicator and Polymorph, but these are the three main plugins. The first plugin was the Custom Mini plugin, also known as CMP. The Custom Mini plugin is now obsolete by 2 generations, and after the BR Hero Forge integration update, it is no longer usable. The successor to Custom Mini plugin was the Extra Assets Registration plugin, also known as EAR, powered by the Extra Assets library. And since the BR Hero Forge integration update, this plugin is also no longer usable. To replace those two, we now have the Custom Assets Library plugin, also known as CALP. It is the only plugin currently available for putting custom assets into the library. Now, how do you make assets, or what kind of assets can be used with CALP? So, in the beginning, when we had the Custom Mini plugin, there were two different types of assets supported. One, you could just drop in your OBJ and MTL file, and the OBJ MTL loader would load those assets. Once we got to EAR and now CALP, the OBJ MTL loader is no longer supported. It was a quick way to get assets into Talespire for those who didn't want to muck around with Unity, but it was unreliable, and the new way of getting assets into Talespire doesn't really promote the use of the OBJ MTL loader. So now, in order to get assets into Talespire, you will need to create asset bundles or download asset bundles to use in CALP. Now, with asset bundles, there are two ways to bring those actually onto the board. There is the library. This was supported from the days of the EAR plugin, and now is again supported in CALP. And that basically is to bring out the asset just like you bring out any other asset, by opening up the library, selecting the minis category, and then going through the groups and pulling out whatever asset you want. So when assets are downloaded or added, CALP will find them and add them into your library so that they appear there like any other assets. The other way is to use the blueprint. If you have any asset on the board, you can press Ctrl-C to copy that asset. It will copy a very odd-looking string, which you can then put into your notepad or anywhere else, save it anywhere else. And anytime you then copy that weird string and paste it back, that asset plus all of its stats will reappear in Talespire, and you can drop it there multiple times. The blueprint works with core and custom minis, so that's another way that you can put those customized minis into your board without going through the library. Okay, so let's get started. So, if I'm a common user and I just want to download some custom assets from the Thunderstore, how do I go about doing that? Well, I'm going to assume that you do have a modded Talespire already. If you do not, there are multiple videos that show you how to do that, including a very good one by Demon Gun. And they will go through the process of installing R2 Modman, which is the recommended mod manager. R2 Modman basically allows you to download, install, uninstall, disable, enable plugins and asset bundles. So it's a manager that you can easily run a modded Talespire with and use whatever packs and plugins that you want. So I'm assuming you've already got that. If not, go see one of those videos first and then come back to here. So once you've got your Talespire modded, what else do we need? So first of all, we definitely need CALP, so the Custom Asset Library plugin. You can go either through the Thunderstore, or in R2 Modman there is an online tab that you go to, and it will also show the contents of the Thunderstore. My personal preference is to use the actual webpage, talespire.thunderstore.io, as opposed to using the R2 Modman online. If you know exactly what plugin you're looking for and you just need to download it, the R2 Modman online tab is great. But if you're kind of browsing the plugins, or you want to get a new one and you don't know too much about it, going through the website is much better, because it will show you the documentation page where you can get more information about that plugin. It will also tell you if there's any additional installation steps. For some plugins, you do need to do some manual steps to install them or to configure them. So you will see that right away. And typically, it will also tell you how to activate the plugin, or it'll tell you if there's some demo assets that come with the plugin. So especially for plugins, I recommend going through the web page as opposed to the R2 Modman online. So once we've got the CALP downloaded and installed in R2 Modman, the next thing that we're going to want to do is we still do want to download the Extra Asset Registrations plugin. Now you might be asking me why, when I just told you that the Extra Asset Registration plugin is no longer being used. Yes, it is no longer being used, but what we've created is basically a fake Extra Asset Registration plugin that doesn't do anything, but what it does allow is your system to think that you have it installed. The reason for this is that some of the content developers that have made some packs with extra minis put in the Extra Asset Registrations plugin as a dependency, which means you can't use that pack unless you have it installed. Now, if we installed an actual version of Extra Asset Registration, it would cause a whole bunch of exceptions in your logs. We don't want that. So we created this fake Extra Asset Registration plugin that the plugin doesn't do anything, but the R2 Modman thinks you've got it installed, so any pack that requires it will now work. So it is recommended to download that one. Otherwise, you're going to have some packs that are not going to be available to you because you don't have the Extra Asset Registration plugin installed. Now, the good news is that if you download any pack that requires it, it will now download this fake version, and you won't need to worry about it. So once we've got those two, what else do we do? Well, then we just choose the pack or packs that we want to download, presumably either plugins or, in this case, most likely minis, and that's basically it. But beyond that, if you then download the pack, that's all you need to do. Once the pack is downloaded, when you run Talespire, CALP will recognize that you have a new pack. It will do a bunch of registering, and then once you start your game, those assets will appear in your library wherever the asset specified them to be. I know these videos don't have great production quality, but they do have a lot of useful information.
So please, appease the YouTube algorithm goddess by casting the subscribe spell and then blasting your Eldritch Blast at the like button. It'll really help me out.